We just heard from Amanda Frainer, and if you haven't started using social media, I am sure you learned a ton about what you need to do to plan. If you are using social media, I'm sure you learned another ton about how you could do it a little bit better. She says that information has changed from the top down, from the media just throwing out information to anybody who might be listening or watching, to the masses, sometimes by their sharing, actually shaping what the media picks up and rolls with. We all want to be in the conversation today. We don't want to be left out. We want our voices heard. And so our way to get our voices heard and to have policy shaped is to use social media in a much stronger way than we might have been doing it. What we say can actually shape minds, change moods, and actually shape that policy we talked about. Why is it all so important? Because you can galvanize your people around your issue. This is exactly what social media delivers.
Well, social media is a relatively low cost to set up channels. Most of them are free from an out-of-pocket perspective. Certainly it does take the time and effort to set them up appropriately and put the resources behind it to maintain them. But it's a quick way to effectively disseminate information amongst a mass amount of people. You can reach people across the country, across the globe in an instant.
So you can see there is a lot of payoff for using social media, especially if you want to build a community around your issue. Take Creaky Joints, for example. Take a look at that website. It's for arthritis sufferers and also their caregivers. They have amassed 75,000 people who use that site. If you don't have creaky joints, if you don't have arthritis, if you're not a caregiver, but you have another issue that your advocacy group works with, look at it for the social phenomenon that it is. What are they saying? How are they doing it? How often do they say it? What content do they drive? So what they've done can be a great teacher for how you can have a larger presence out there in social media. The thing that Amanda Frainer said that I think we really need to pay attention to is we need to plan, prepare, and develop a very strong strategy. She says we need to know what we want our people to do. We want to know what action we want them to take, and they want to know too.
What's the tone you want to use on social media? Is it very professional but approachable? Is it more personal and friendly, like somebody who has a shared experience, like that's your buddy that you would be talking to? Is it a first-person narrative? Is it a third-person narrative? What's your position? Are you the authority? Are you somebody with shared empathy who's gone through the same thing? What this really helps to achieve is that authentic voice in the conversation. It keeps the content consistent. You're not bouncing from third person to first person, from professional to personal. You're giving people a sense of who you are. You're becoming a real voice online, a personal entity in which they can relate to.
The most important point of all of this is it's about sharing. As Amanda says, you want your voice heard, but guess what? All of your folks want their voices heard too. It's about keeping each other informed. You can tell them about policies, new research. You can give them case studies. They can tell you about what they need, what they want, what their issues are, and how you can help them. If they like and use your information, they will share it. And not only that, but when you share it, you have an opportunity to ask them to hit the share button so you can show them and tell them and encourage them to share your information. Here are just some examples of what you can post. You can post brand new regulations, news clips. You can invite them to a town hall. You can show photos of events so that they know that their dollars are actually doing something out in the community for your users. Videos. Those videos can be how-tos or what's happening or what you are doing at any given moment. And those case studies I mentioned, you can have your users talk about what they get out of your site. Here's the great thing. You do not have to reinvent or invent new content. You have a white paper someplace. You have a brochure someplace. You have a video you've already used. You have a policy statement. You can use those in 140 characters for days on end, so you don't have to develop new content for your Twitter feed. You can use what you already have in the closet. and you can tweet every day for a long time. Now for Facebook, you just add a little more content to those tweets and you have a Facebook post ready to use. You need to make somebody on your staff responsible, and I know exactly what you're saying right now. We don't have enough people, we don't have enough time. There is a young intern who knows all about Twitter, who knows all about Facebook, who can help you set that up. And if you don't have one, you can find one easily. Why would we want to do all of this? Because there are 1 billion people on Facebook. Many of those are people who can use what you have. There are 500 million people still using Twitter. Look at LinkedIn. You can join groups there so that you make sure you're reaching the people that you want to reach because they've already formed groups that you might not know about yet. Here's something else. You can share information from your partners. Now I know what question you're asking again. Why would I want to share their information? We're competing for the same dollars, the same grant dollars. Yes, you are. But you don't have to see yourselves as competing for the same users of your site. You just see them as expanding your site. Now here's the most important thing. You need to know who you want to be on your site. If they like it, they will absolutely use it.